With college and school soon restarting, it's time to again look at the tools that we use to effectively learn and manage our production of work as well. Of course, there are plenty of tools out there on offer, ranging from analog tools to more professional class tools, ones that you can use on the go and ones that you need at a desk. But in this modern world of learning and interconnectivity, the iPad is a great tool to use to study and learn effectively. So today we're going to look at some iPad productivity and learning tools and apps that you can use as you go back to school. That's right, it's back to school apps for the iPad. One of the first tools that you'll really want to consider is a calendar. Calendars are very helpful when you're studying because they can help you keep track of times of your lectures, your tutorials, and also social engagements as well. There is a built-in calendar app in the iPad, the standard calendar from Apple, and it's a pretty good basic tool that offers some very simple functionality. You also get a free calendar account with your Apple account. However, there are a couple of tools that you may want to check out for extra functionality. Fantastical has a brilliant natural language integration for adding tasks. This makes it super easy and super quick to add a task without having to think about what you need to type here or there. You just start typing ultimate frisbee practice on Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the park, and it will fill in the information 10 o'clock in the park and the event title, Ultimate Frisbee. That's really useful and really handy. Google Calendar has some extra functionality as well, where it will try to automatically make suggestions depending on the activity you want to do. So let's say you want to exercise more and you select the goal of exercising more. Google Calendar will look at your calendar, look at when people usually effectively exercise, and make those suggestions for you. Next is task management apps and to-do lists. A task management app and a to-do list app are fundamentals for many people's productivity. These help you to keep your life in order in different areas and with different projects. It can be tough when you've got a lot of stuff going on, social engagements, studying, maybe family commitments as well. And if you're having to manage all of that, you may forget things and forget when an important date is coming up. Using a task management tool will help you stay on top of your work and your social life and get that assignment in on time. There are two task management apps which I recommend. The first is Todoist. It's free to start using with more exclusive and premium features behind a subscription. This makes it a great way to get started and see if this is the tool that you want to use. It also supports sync across many different platforms, including Windows, the Mac, and a web version. Alternatively, there is Things. Things is a beautiful task management tool which has some great features that Todoist is missing. However, you do have to pay up front for Things, and you need to buy the app again for the iPhone, the iPad, and the Mac. It also doesn't support Windows or Android or another service that you may use. Next, let's look at note apps. Even if you don't have that many lectures, keeping notes is a really important and fundamental skill for many people. Although there are many different note apps out there, including the inbuilt Apple Notes, my personal favourite is Notability. Notability has some really great functionality, including audio recording and marking up PDFs. You can use the Apple Pencil to write on the screen, in a blank document, or on top of a PDF handout that you've been given. This makes it really great for finding articles that are interesting online and highlighting it, or taking your lectures notes and then adding more notes to it in class. Of course, there are different options and you may prefer a different note app. Next, let's talk about assignments. For many of us, this means using a word processing application. And of course, you can get Microsoft Word on the iPad. It has a lot of the same functionality that you'll find in the desktop applications and laptop applications. However, you will need an Office 365 account to be able to use it on an iPad that's bigger than 10 inches. So if you have one of the new iPad Pros, that's you. Of course, if you've got a smaller 9.7 or iPad mini, then you won't need to get an Office 365 account to be able to edit the documents. If you don't fancy shilling out for an Office 365 account, then you can use Pages from Apple. It has a lot of the functionality that you find in Word, but it is missing certain features. This stripped down version though has a lot of nice user interface and is a lot simpler for many people to use. You can also export as a .doc document, document, nice, which is the standard that Microsoft Word exports as. That's useful if your professor insists upon using Microsoft Word, which many still do. Be warned, sometimes some tricky and awkward changes can happen when it comes to exporting from Pages, and not all lecturers will accept that. Presentations are another form of assignment that people often have to submit. On the iPad, there are a few different options, including the two most popular, PowerPoint and Keynote. Personally, I prefer Keynote because I think it looks nicer and has a few more features. Plus, it's free on the iPad, unlike PowerPoint, which requires a 365 subscription. There are other choices though as well, such as the more interesting Prezi for slightly different presentations. When you're planning your presentation, you might want to use a mind mapping application. MindNode is my personal favorite mind mapping application. It's very simple to use, and you can use it with a keyboard for quick adding of extra tasks going out or going down your tree. It supports pictures, different colors, links, notes, and a whole load more. You can then export your mind map to a markdown document, a task paper list, or to the OPML format standard, which other applications can accept. This means that you can turn your mind map into the outline of a document, which you can then fill in. Great for assignments. Communication is important when you're studying, and there are plenty of communication applications that you may want to use depending on your friends. Let's say that you've got a group project that you need to do. Well, maybe you want to set up a Slack group for a short period of time. But probably, knowing most people, you'd rather just use Facebook Messenger and set up a group with your friends there. As an alternative, there's also tools like GroupMe, which allow you to set up a temporary group that you can use to talk during an assignment. Managing documents is very important upon the iPad, and it isn't the easiest thing to do yet. iOS 11 is going to help this with the addition of the Files app, but until then you'll need a cloud provider such as Dropbox or iCloud, and I'd highly recommend Documents by Readle. Documents allows you to look at the files that you can't see elsewhere and then send them to different applications. So let's say you get a PNG file and you want to edit it in a graphics editor. Well, you might not be able to do that just from the file straight away, but if you upload it to Dropbox and then send it using Documents to your editing application of choice, you're good to go. Of course, a lot of studying involves reading, and that can be a real challenge on the iPad, and yet it is one of the things that it does really well. Of course, you have iBooks built in, and you can get Kindle to access all of Amazon's library of Kindle books. However, some documents aren't found there. Scribed is an application you may want to check out, which has the option to share documents with people, which could include your lecture notes, and also for a subscription, you can access all of their library of books. They have great fiction, non-fiction, and you can even get audiobooks to download as well. Alternatively, if you're looking for a course-specific textbook, you may want to check out Chegg. Chegg is a service that helps people to find the textbooks that they're looking for and use them afterwards. So you can rent a textbook or buy it secondhand off a past student. Once you finish your course, you can then sell your textbook on as well. If you're writing a paper, then you're going to have to reference those textbooks. Luckily, Chegg actually offers a service called EasyBib. EasyBib helps you to prepare your bibliography in whatever format you need it. MLA, Harvard, whatever. All you need to do is scan or search for the book using its title, and then you'll be able to find it and create a reference quickly and easily. You can then email the reference to yourself to use it later on. For more pro features, they also have EasyBib Pro, which adds in some extra features, including more format styles and syncing. Although tutors say you should never use Wikipedia, sometimes there is a good reason to. Be that for finding sources that you can use later on and dig deeper into further reading, or finding connecting topics which you can then read up on later on. The Wikipedia app is beautifully designed, simple to use, and has a pleasant reading experience. If you don't have time to read now, but you find an interesting article or even video, then Instapaper is a very useful service to read it later. There's a few other alternatives like Pocket, which offer very similar functions, but in my opinion, Instapaper is better because it has a nicer, cleaner interface, and you can change the way the reading experience with serif fonts or dyslexic fonts even. If your lecturer puts their notes up on iTunes U, then iTunes U is a brilliant tool to use to stay up to date with their notes. iTunes U allows you to see lecture notes, lecture audio, and even lecture videos. And you can even look at series from other universities as well, especially if they're all put up online for free. Finally, you shouldn't just study. It's important to relax as well, and the iPad is a great tool for entertainment choices, be that your game of choice or just Netflix and chill. So make the most of your time off as well with the iPad. Thanks for watching another video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I tried to do a few different things. If you have enjoyed it, please like, comment if you'd like to give some feedback, and of course subscribe so you can follow the next video, which should come out hopefully next week. See ya. Finally, if you, not finally. Start again from the beginning.